now.
Hello. No. Oh, it's going to be one of them streams. I don't know what the audio is like at the moment, mods, if you can let me know, because the microphone isn't working. The Blue Yeti, I mean, the microphone is working. Okay. I'm having one of those nights. I'm having one of those streams where everything is going wrong and it's freaking me out. You're much clearer now, yeah. Every now and then, the software will just stop recognizing the Blue Yeti. Even though the mic here, I've got a red light here that tells me whether it's muted or not. Maybe I can spin it around and you can see. Yeah, you can just about if it's muted, but if it's just solid light, um, then it should be picking it up. But every now and then the software just decides to stop recognizing it. So anyway, hello my friends, Gary Goers and fellow poets. Welcome back to the channel. I'm a bit flustered. On my preview on YouTube preview, it said I still had a minute left of the countdown, and then I went into OBS and it said that the countdown had finished. So I'm a bit flustered. It's not the best start to the stream, but we're here. Hello everybody. Hello Genevieve. Hello Mark. Hello Nightbot. Hello little Danny. Hello Mitchell. Hello Delgirl. Hello everyone. No, Adam still talking after he purposely mutes himself. You scared me for a second there, Danny. I'm not muted now, am I? You can still hear me, right? I almost want to do the countdown again just to clear my head, but we can't do that. Hello, everyone. What is everyone up to? Oh, I also have less than half my battery left on the laptop, and I don't have my laptop charger out here. So, very annoying, but it is what it is. What has everyone been up to this week? I know Mark, Genevieve, and Danny and Mitch were here last night at the Covers hangout. It was cool to see you. It was good to see you, Mark. Oh, there we go. I just refreshed my YouTube to try and get playback. Uh, I hope you enjoyed the hangout. Oh my God, Adam, it's flustered. I was talking about when you was explaining your mic. I think creatives are plagued by technical flops, not our fault, just the way the universe shouts. It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. But we're here now. We're back. I think everything's under control. We're going to talk about GloPoWriMo survival in part 2. We're going to talk about intergenerational poetry. We're going to talk some poetry headlines and all the good stuff. So that's what we're going to get into. But first, I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys have been up to, if you've been up to anything exciting or not. I've lost my preview again. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's YouTube or if it's me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I'll have to just make do. So mods, just be aware I don't have a preview. My preview keeps going. The timeline keeps going pushing back. I don't know why. I think there must be a bug in YouTube. I think it must be a bug in YouTube. It's doing it again. I keep dragging it up to live and then it just keeps going back and back and back. So I don't know what's happening. I enjoyed the hangout. I put up 15 prompts in the forum yesterday for the kickoff of GloPoWriMo. I did see that. Yes, I did see that. I saw quite a few people have joined us for GloPoWriMo, so that's great. That's great. this timeline thing is distracting me. I'm just going to push it back to the start, and then again, as I say, mods. I don't have a preview, so if the stream crashes, I'm relying on mod chat. If that's okay. Holding my mug really weird, but I am really weird. Um, I'm going to read some poetry later in part two. That was something that was suggested by Genevieve. Um, People seem to enjoy it when I read some poems, so I brought the early hours out with me. I actually, well, I didn't bring it out. I left it out because I used it in my short video today. But I'm going to do that in part two. And then YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I don't know what's happening. Don't know what's happening. Okay, let's get into the breaking news section. I wonder about your time change. Breaking news. Mark Keller wonders about my time change. I wonder about your time change. Could that have something to do with the shenanigans? Maybe. I think the internet gremlins are just out today. I think the internet gremlins are just out today. Hi, I might not be able to stay for long. No worries, a poet. Hello, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't already, by the way, don't forget to hit that like button. I'd really, really appreciate it. It's completely free. It takes just a few seconds, but it really helps me. Guys know you guys know the spiel by now. All right. So our first headline today is April is National Poetry Writing Month, or just National Poetry Month. But actually, I think it's international. From what I was reading today, I think it's National Poetry Month in the US, and it's also National Poetry Month in the UK. So it might be National Poetry Month wherever you are in the world. So I guess we'll just call it International Poetry Month. But that is next month. Excuse me. That is next month. That is April. The theme of the month is family, and also that brings out an event called NaPoWriMo or GloPoWriMo, National Poetry Writing Month, Global Poetry Writing Month, which is something we're going to be talking about in part two anyway. It's something we're taking part in over at the Poetry Cove. But yes, April will be National/International Poetry Month, and the theme for this year is family. So you have been told. Again, we're taking part in GloPoWriMo at the Poetry Cove, so feel free to come and join us with that. Speaking of GloPoWriMo, a huge champion of the Poetry Cove's efforts in GloPoWriMo is Mythical Meter, and I did receive a message from him before going live that he's currently stuck in a freezing rainstorm. So can we all just wish Mythical Meter our very best in the chat? Let him know that we're thinking about him. YouTube attempts to stop a poet stream, but the poet puts YouTube in its place. There's a headline. Thank you very much, Mitchell Malone. I think it is also National Poetry Month in Canada, but I could be wrong. Right, so I guess we're just going to call it International Poetry Month from here on out because it's international. Thank you, Genevieve, for letting me know. So yes, let's all send our very best wishes to Mythical Meter, who's currently in a freezing rainstorm, and I believe it's cut his power and doing all sorts of stuff. So maybe that has something to do with YouTube being weird tonight as well. I don't know. But Herb, we're sending you our best. We're sending you our best wishes here at Conversing with Poets. So lots of hearts in the chat for Mythical Meter, everybody. Let's show some love and support for one of our own. Thank you, Delgal. Thank you, Mitchell. There we go. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Okay, so our second headline, crossed out words in poems of Alfred Tennyson. I really love this. Danny, thank you so much for sending this to me to read and look at. I find it fascinating that uh, there's technology for people to see like what's behind paintings. Does that make sense? There's like scanners, right? And you can see where artists changed their paintings or changed their sketches. And Danny sent me this from Smithsonian Magazine. Advanced imaging reveals crossed out words in the poems of Alfred Tennyson. I love that there is a poetry version of this. I find it so cool and fascinating. The 19th century English poet was a prolific reviser who tested out many variations of his work before publication. A new study sheds light on his creative process. And there's pictures and everything. It's great. Um, like most writers' handwritten drafts, there's the first yawn of the stream. Like most writers' handwritten drafts, the papers of Alfred Tennyson, who also, by the way, spent some time in Surrey, which is, fun with my connection to Surrey too. The 19th century English poet known for nuggets such as "'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all," um, are littered with ink blots, crossed out words, and other markings. Researchers at the University of Oxford recently set out to read some of Tennyson's uh, indecipherable scribbles using advanced imaging techniques, according to a paper published in the Review of English Studies. So yeah, essentially, it's really cool that there's doodles and everything. There's some really cool images in this article, guys. It's fascinating. Give it a read. And as I say, it's so cool that there is now a poetry version of this because I've always found it fascinating when they do scans of Da Vinci's sketches or what have you, and you can see all the editing that's taken place. Sending non-freezing thoughts to mythical meter. Thank you, Genevieve. I wish you perseverance and the strength to endure mythical meter. This too shall pass. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for sending mythical meter all those healing messages and best wishes. So that's our first breaking news. Our second breaking news is benefits of poetry during COVID. Um, Another research-based article for you today. I've got two research papers, articles, whatever you want to call them, for you today. But I thought this was really interesting. And the headline is, I researched poetry written during COVID 5 years on. 5 years on, here's how people say it helped them. Historically, poets have had less to say about pandemics than you might imagine. Hardly any English language poetry written during successive waves of bubonic plague focused directly on the effects of the disease. For instance, and exceptions often had a purpose external. What? I read that terribly. Hardly any English language poetry written during successive waves of bubonic plague focused directly on the effects of the disease. For instance, and exception. What? Okay, I can't get my head around that sentence. Sorry. I'll let you guys read it when the link gets put in the chat. The 14th century monk and poet John Lydgate's Doctrine for Pestilence, circa 1415. Wow, there's a date for you, medieval. It's a wonderful example. For most poets, pandemics could provide a context for poems, but rarely became a focus, which is interesting. So, scrolling down, poetry and COVID survey. COVID was different in many crucial ways. It was or is a pandemic of the internet age, in which similarities and differences in our experiences were laid bare in real time globally. Let me just try and get to the results of this survey. It was completed by 373 people. Over 80% said the website helped them. I've missed a lot here for you. I mean, I'm sure the link has already been put in the chat. Thank you, mods. More than 51% indicated that reading or writing poetry had helped them deal with loneliness or isolation. For 50%, it had helped with anxiety and depression. So yeah, basically poetry, a study has found that poetry was very beneficial during the pandemic, 5 years on. So there's an article there for you guys to read in your own time, if you so wish to do. Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you. And I think, oh yeah, and I also, so whilst researching headlines and news articles, I came across two articles today that was posted yesterday or a day ago from the Times. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not subscribed to the Times, but reading the headlines, they seem salty as the headlines were American poets are taking over, but are they better? US imports are dominating the British poetry scene, but their first person fixation feels a lot like navel gazing. There is a link there for the mods to share, but you have to be subscribed to the Times. As I say, salty. And the second headline was Modern poetry is booming. Why is so much of it insta drivel? Which is old news. It's old news. We've spoken about it loads of times. I don't know why we're still talking about that because, you know, we've moved on. But yeah, I found the Times to be very salty yesterday. They must have woken up and decided anger was anger was on the dish for today. Anger and bitterness at poets. So that's all our headlines today. Let's get into topic one.
Wow.
Wow. All right, so let's talk about intergenerational poetry. Let's talk about intergenerational poetry. Um, I am lucky enough with what I do. I'm so lucky to work with so many different generations, and it's genuinely such a real pleasure. It's such a real pleasure to be able to work with numerous generations and hear different takes on interpretations on poems from different generations. I don't know how many times I've said generations in the last 4 sentences, but it's a real pleasure. And I wanted to talk about intergenerational poetry. I'm going to read to a poet 1,000 years hence, which is a poem I've spoken about 100 times, and any excuse I can find to read it, I will read it because I love the poem. And I think I spoke about it in one of my videos recently about mind-blowing poetry that changed my perspectives. This was one of them, but it also, intergenerational. Uh, young poet speaks to other young poet. Um, I was talking to someone on Hinge last night, and they was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a poet." And it's always suspenseful after you say you're a poet. You either get immediately unmatched, ooh, poet, or you're like, or you get, oh, that's really interesting. And I was talking to someone last night, and they were talking about how they stumbled. They were cleaning out the house, and they stumbled across their mother's poems. And I thought that was really cool, and that was really interesting. Um, so yeah, we're going to talk about intergenerational poetry. Uh, haha, yeah. I was going to come back to something, and I've forgotten what I was going to come back to. Oh yeah, to a poet 1,000 years hence. I was going to read a poem. So if you don't know, this is a poem by James Elroy Flecker, and it's well, I won't tell you what it's about. I'll read it to you, and maybe you can figure it out. So to a poet 1,000 years hence. I who am dead 1,000 years and wrote this sweet archaic song, send you my words for messengers, the way I shall not pass along. I care not if you bridge the seas, or ride secure the cruel sky, or build consummate palaces of metal or of masonry. But have you wine and music still, and statues and a bright-eyed love, and foolish thoughts of good and ill, and prayers to them who sit above? How shall we conquer? Like a wind that falls at eve our fancies blow, and old Maeonides the blind said it 3,000 years ago. O friend unseen, unborn, unknown, student of our sweet English tongue, read out my words at night, alone. I was a poet, I was young. Since I can never see your face and never shake you by the hand, I send my soul through time and space to greet you. You will understand. Um, I just wanted to share that because I just love the idea of a poet, a young poet. That's really interesting to find someone else's poetry, especially a parent's. Yes, it is, right? It is. Um, I really like that poem because it's the sole purpose of that poem is to talk to a poet, 1,000 years hence in the future, and it's still one asking the same questions, and it's still so relatable, I think, at least for me anyway. But yeah, it's really interesting to find someone else's poetry, especially a parent's, especially when that poetry may have been written, and I'm assuming here this may not actually be the case, um, but especially if that poetry was written never with the intention of it, being private and never be actually being shared. It's quite interesting. It almost feels like finding a diary. Absolutely. Nice poem. Hi, Aaron. Welcome to the stream. Or a personal letter. Yeah, it does, right? It really does. Um, so let's talk about the power of uh, intergenerational poetry, and let's talk about what we get from it. I'm just reading notes in the mods chat. We don't write much. I'm confused. Um, so get out of here. Sorry, I'm in the mods chat and watching the mods. So. I've lost my train of thought. There is a link to share, isn't there? There's a link to share, which is I got another fun little anecdote for this. So, there is an article here from Intergenerational Poetry Together, which is an article from the website of the Poetry Society, and the Poetry Society is delighted to support Poetry Together, an initiative now in its fifth year that brings younger and older generations together through the joy of poetry. Poetry Together is the brainchild of author, broadcaster, and poetry fanatic Giles Brandreth. Is organised by Duke's Education and supported by Her Majesty the Queen. This was back in 2023. Fun little anecdote with Giles Brandreth. I've actually worked with Giles Brandreth on an independent horror film. It was an experience. It was an experience. It was a horror film called Rock Band versus Vampires, and I don't think it ever came out, which is such a shame because I enjoyed what I did with that. But I can't remember what the actual title of. I played two roles. I played two roles. One was drunken singer-songwriter, and one was fawning. I think it was like fawning acolyte or something like that. I don't know what it was, but basically, Giles Brandreth played this evil master vampire, I guess. And basically spent a couple of hours just stroking his calf and stroking his shoulder and fawning over him. And it was shot on a green screen in a Travelodge meeting room. It was interesting. I'm sure Giles wouldn't mind me sharing that. But yeah, the film never came out, which is a shame. So I want to talk about, I'll leave you guys to read that article. I want to talk about the benefits of intergenerational poetry, the wisdom that is shared from intergenerational poetry, the emotions that is shared. Because look, the human experience, as we've just heard from 1,000 years hence to a poet 1,000 years hence, the human experience very rarely changes. I mean, the minute details may, but the emotions, they don't change. Love, hate, grief, envy, whatever it is, it will never change. It will always be the case. So that will always be passed down through poetry. That's what makes poetry so great, right? And the wisdom as well. So let's talk. Let's talk. Coming from a young poet, if that's not only remarkable but eye-opening. Yeah, he was young when he wrote that. He was young when he wrote that. You good? I'm good, Aaron. How are you? How are you doing? So, throw spaghetti at the wall. As I say, these streams are called Conversing with Poets. So the more you guys get involved in the chat and discuss the smoother the stream will flow. So please do get involved. Don't be shy. We don't bite. All I say is keep it respectful. Even if you've got a differing opinion from me or anyone else in the chat, that's great. That's okay. Just express your views respectfully. That's what we do here. And we don't discuss politics and religion, as hard as that is right now. But yeah, let me know. What do you think is so great about intergenerational poetry? What do you think makes poetry such a good vessel to speak to multiple generations? Good, dude. I've just woken up. Well, welcome to your Sunday. Welcome or your Monday, depending on where you are in the world. Yeah, don't be shy, guys. Come and share your opinions in the chat box. Does anyone have like a relative that has maybe written poetry or passed on some? That's such a cool notion, actually. You know how families have recipes, right? People have family recipes that get passed down through the generations. Wouldn't it be cool to be like to pass down um nuggets of wisdom down the generations? Ooh, someone should start a poetry recipe book type thing. That would be such a cool thing to do, right? That'd be such a cool thing to do, like a family poetry book. I might even jump on this. I might even start this for my family, like a family poetry book. Do it, right? How cool would that be? Imagine 5 generations from now. Imagine 5 generations from now being handed a book of poems that's like just nuggets of wisdom or it's little family stories, but in verse format. That would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. Oh, I'm definitely going to start that for my family for sure. Haven't spoken to my family in regards to poetry. I don't think they are interested, so the poetry line starts with me. I love that. It doesn't stop with you, it starts with you. Danny is the first poet at the family. The poetry line has begun with Danny. Poetry is accessible. Poetry is accessible to all, and as a result, teaches us all that we're closer together, in spite of age differences, than we think. Experiences of the young can be related by the older. Oh, I like that, Mark. Poetry is accessible to all and, as a result, teaches us all that we're closer together. Yes, Mark, absolutely. In spite of age differences than we think. Experiences of the young can be related by the older. I love that. I love that. I feel like that would be such a fascinating way to learn about family history, but also an interesting way to look at the ways through the generations sometimes. The same worries weigh heavy. Yeah, yes. To learn about family history, I love that. But also an interesting way to also look at the ways through the generations. Yeah. Yeah, you have to like assign a family bard, a family scribe, a family poet who writes a poem each family celebration. Every time there's a Christmas that year, the family bard writes a poem about it. The lack of an edit button here is going to be the end of me. No, you're good, Genevieve. You're good. By the way, it is Mother's Day here in the UK, so a big shout out to all the mothers um, around the world. It is Mother's Day here in the UK, so uh, happy Mother's Day. There's some Mother's Day love. The lack of, just read that one. Yeah, I'm just thinking how great it would be to have some poems of like my grandparents and my great grandparents. Can anyone can anyone think of poems that might kind of I mean it also it activism poetry is also great because it shares the wisdom of the past and poets, 21st century poets can read the activist poets poems and let keep those lessons alive and make sure that we don't forget, right? Um, has anyone ever been to a intergenerational poetry specific session? Because they do exist, and I think that would be quite interesting. I will come up with some intergenerational prompts for GloPoWriMo as the theme is family. Most of what I posted doesn't cut the mustard. That's okay. That's okay. I mean, I will be posting prompts every day, but you're more than welcome to post your own prompts. Um, no, I would like to go to something like this. Hi, class. Welcome to the stream. So glad that you could join us. Yeah, I think it would be really interesting. I think it would be really interesting. And I think, you know, I mean, maybe it's not the case for everyone, but it's certainly a popular phenomenon, if you want to call it that. But we've sometimes we fail to talk to the older generation enough and listen to their stories and hear what they've been through and listen to their life, learn from their life lessons. And um, I think it would be amazing to go to sort of a workshop that might look at that. And as I say, have a family poetry collection, family poetry book. The closest would be your open mics if you can class that as intergenerational. Also, I feel like an event to specifically bring together generations for discussions art would be really cool. Yeah, and they do exist. They do exist. They do exist. So I'd love to take myself along to those. Is GloPoWriMo themed family for everyone? Or is that a Cove thing? It's an official theme. It's not something we've necessarily adopted for the Cove, but we can. I've got daily prompts that are more we're moving on to topic two now. I've got prompts that are more in the moment. Uh, take inspiration from where you are right there and then, or whenever you decide to write a poem. So we're not necessarily sticking to the theme of family at the Cove, but we can do if that's what you want to do, then absolutely you can. Thank you, Nightbot. Yes, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like button. I'd really, really appreciate it. Let's try and get to 15 before we break. That would be cool if we can get to 15 before we go on break. Society has hammered us to view the world in a certain way, and poets rebel against that stigma. Yeah, that's what we are at heart, really. We're all a bunch of rebels. We're all a bunch of rebels. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'm number 14. Hit the like button. Thank you so much, class. There we go. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. We hit that like target. I appreciate it. Anytime I set a target for you guys, you just boom, you go, you knock it out of the park. Not exactly on poetry, but I feel like people have studied the benefits of intergenerational living arrangements. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. I know someone who lives very much in an intergenerational living arrangement. Now it's at 16. Yeah, you guys smashed it. You guys went above and beyond, as you always do, as you always do. I think I'm gonna stick this year. I'm gonna stick to the 10,000 subs target, and we're flying. I think we might actually be able to do it this year, guys. I think we might actually be able to hit 10,000 subs this year. We're almost at 8,000. I think if we really, really push, we can hit 10,000 by December. I grew up with my paternal grandmother till she passed in 2017. I'm sorry to hear about that. Sorry to hear about that, Danny. But did she share any sort of wisdom with you? It would be so cool if she shared a poem, but I'm not sure. As you said, you are starting the poetic, the line of poets. You are the start. You are Danny the First. That's what I'm going to call you from now on, Danny the First. Little Danny the First of her house. Yes, I like that. I like that. Little Danny the First of her house. Found it beneficial in regards to life, i.e., cooking. I found it beneficial in regards to life, i.e., cooking, and taught me about all things history, like World War II. That's so cool. That's so cool that you had those discussions and you heard those stories and stuff like that. Because that kind of stuff is priceless. That kind of stuff is priceless, and it's really great that you seized that and you made the most of that. Also, but alas, no poetry conversations. The closest I got with that was Cockney rhyming slang. I think you mean slang. I think there's a N missing in there. Hey, if it rhymes, isn't it poetry, right? Hey, everything is poetry. Everything is poetry. Slang, yeah, there, there you go. You got there. You got there. All right, who's ready to hear what the prompt is for this evening? Who's ready to hear what the prompt? Sorry, guys. No, you're okay. You're good. Who's ready to hear the prompt for the poetry challenge? This stream's poetry challenge. If you are, let me know by, I don't know, what emoji should we use? Maybe the Gary Goyle thumbs up. I don't know. Prompt drum roll. Yeah, prompt drum roll, please. I appreciate if I can hear anyone speak Cockney. I have a cousin, think he's still alive, who was on Iwo Jima. Iwo Jima? in World War II. He couldn't talk about it, and I never asked. But the last thing he said to me was, "A lot of boys got hurt." Right? Yes. Oh, my laptop battery has gone on energy saving mode. I'm ready. All right, drum roll. Can you believe it? What a shock. No, in celebration of GloPoWriMo, NaPoWriMo, whatever you want to call it, in celebration of that, the theme is family. So we're going to go with the prompt of family today. So if you... Class, I respect that. We got some drumsticks in the chat. Um, that's great. I've forgotten what I was saying. Yeah, poetry. So, what are we doing? Every stream we do a poetry challenge. I actually don't like chicken. We do a poetry challenge, and the winner gets a free bronze membership at the Poetry Cove for 1 month. So the prompt is family, and when we get back after our 5-minute break, we will hear from your poems, and I'll pick a winner. So let's grab a coffee and a loo break. Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Sorry it took me a while. Sorry I left you on countdown for a minute there. But we are back and um we are gonna talk about GloPoWriMo and how to survive GloPoWriMo. I'm also gonna read some poems and we're gonna do a poetry challenge prompt. The theme is family. And then, yeah, the winner will get a month's free uh, membership at the Cove. How to write 1,000,000 poems and maintain sanity. That is exactly what we're going to talk about. And if you write 999,999 poems, I think I got that right. I think I mathed, maybe. I will not be satisfied. And then you have failed um, GloPoWriMo. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. What am I talking about? Right. Let's. Dang. Yeah. Dang. Dang. No, I'm just kidding, guys. You know I'm just kidding. So, let me have a swig of beer. I will just wait for people to come back from the 5-minute break. And in case you missed it, poetry challenge prompt is family. Yes. To tie in with NaPoWriMo, GloPoWriMo. So, uh in case you missed it, poetry challenge prompt is family. Hi, hi, Del Girl, hi. I am going to read from my book. I'm going to read from my book. Tonight, I light a candle. Okay, a poet through the night. This is an early one. This was from Blue Streak back in 2018. And I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes. I'll give you guys 5 more minutes. Don't worry, you won't have to listen to me read poetry for 5 minutes, but I will give you guys 5 more minutes. If you are taking part in the poetry challenge, I will give you 5 minutes to brush up on your poems. Don't forget that the YouTube chat box only allows 200 characters, so don't go crazy. Don't go writing an epic. And to demonstrate line breaks, if you want to, I recommend forward slashes. So, a poet through the night. I'm up through the night if I don't write. It's like a beast inside of me, roaring and clawing to get free. I'm up through the night if I don't write. My blood thickens and my brain cries. My hands sweat and my heart dies. I'm up through the night if I don't write. My hands jitter and shake, which keeps me awake. I itch and scratch, and my mind won't settle until I flick on the kettle and reach for my quill. I'm up through the night once I start to write. I'm going to have to leave soon. I'll try to watch the rest on playback. No worries, a poet. That's completely fine. I totally understand. Man, do you know what? I haven't read some of these for so long. For so long. Flying fish of the sea. It's about jumping to conclusions. Flying fish of the sea. Jumping Jack came and went in a flash, birthed under a raging sun, another named and characterized flying fish of the sea. Another blunted shave with sharpened razor blade, from misinterpretation, misinformation, boiling before the simmer. She released one more flying fish to the turbulent, ever-populating sea. Sunken ships, wrecked rowboats with rows, severed at the spine, pierced in the heart, assault or self-harm. Translucent burn scars braille on my palm, the story of catching a flying fish of the sea. I said I wouldn't read poetry for 5 whole minutes, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We're approaching that 5 minutes. Trying to sleep through a night shift. Some of these are wild. Oh, how about we go back a few Poet in the Long Dark Coat in 2019. Okay. Poet in the Long Dark Coat. Based off of Man in the Long Black Coat by Bob Dylan. Raindrops were dripping, the clouds swept high. He stormed out the door. If he stayed, he would die. Through soggy marsh fields of damp and green, he popped his collar, not wanting to be seen. Not a word of goodbye, not even a note, so walked the poet in the long dark coat. Nobody had seen him lurking around, not even a glimpse, he didn't want to be found. He was lost in his thoughts as he looked to the sky, and he wondered if the world was even alive. Painting pictures with words of his own, rambled on did the poet in the long dark coat. He roamed as he pleased from town over town, harmonica on mouth playing a sweet sorrowed sound, for he'd seen that the world was all bark and no bite. And then from afar did he meet her sparkled eye, as she stood in white, having read the words he'd wrote. She gave her heart to the poet in the long dark coat. But it wasn't enough to get him to stay, so she wailed at him and he went on his way. And was this all that the world would be so willing to show, as they called for the poet in the long dark coat? I don't think I'll read the last stanza of this, actually. I don't think I'll read the last stanza because we are bang on 8, and I think we've heard enough of me. So let's read some of your poems, shall we? Let's read some of your poems. People, what is family? People, what is family? It's a circle of... Oh, this is your poem. I think this is a poem. Okay, so we got a entry from Delgal. Great. I don't think we've ever had a poem from Delgal. Thank you so much, Delgal. Class, poem, lineage shaping each end of one another, refining our collective. I like that a lot. Nice. Nice haiku. Yeah, I'm just counting your syllables, class. Not to be that guy, but I just wanted to make sure it is a haiku, having said nice haiku. So if you see my fingers going like this, it's because I was counting class's syllables. I can't fit mine in and can't shorten it. Oh no, Danny. Well, I wouldn't ask you to sacrifice your art. 2 posts. There you go. Yes, count. I had gemstone after collective. Nice. Very nice. Also, you just brushed past Delgal's poem. No, I didn't. Did I not read it out loud? Sorry, people. What is this? I was just happy that we had a poem from Delgal. But people, what is family? It's a circle of life. With each birth, the family extends. Joy and laughter when all are together. through sad times and new births, makes a family that will never fade. Thank you, Delgal. That's nice. All right, a couple more minutes. I think Danny can do it in 2 messages. I think Danny can put it into 2 messages. There's no, to be fair, I never set that rule. I never said you couldn't put it in 2 messages. Technically, it would just make it harder to judge. But if you can get them both in quickly, one after the other, so that I can read it without it sort of being broken in half, then sure, go for it. I tried, not really a poet, just love listening to all you guys. Ah. So what does family really mean? Poem. Apparently blood is thicker than water, but I don't see it. Family comes first, they always say, but where were they when I needed them the most? When I was drowning in my own thoughts. So what does family really mean? It's poop, but there you go. No! When I do my workshops, that's my one rule. You cannot apologize for your work. You cannot insult your own work. You cannot do stuff like this. In my workshops, though, there's nothing I can really do. That's what I say. However, if you do break that rule, there's not much I can do about it. But I'm online, so I can block you, Danny. If you put your work down again, I'll block you. No, I won't do that. I won't do that. Well done to you all. Can Mitch insult it for me then? Oh, goodness. No! No insults. That somehow seems worse, Danny. You guys are wild. All right, I'll give it one more minute to see if anyone else wants to throw a poem into the challenge. If not, we'll move on to GloPoWriMo Survival Guide. And I'm just going to read them all again. People, what is family? It's a circle of life. With each birth, the family extends joy and laughter when all are together. Through sad times and new births, makes a family that will never fade. Thank you, Dalgal. Lineage shaping each end of one another, refining our collective. Thank you, class. Apparently, blood is thicker than water, but I don't see it. Family comes first, they always say, but where were they when I needed them the most? When I was drowning in my own thoughts. So, what does family really mean? You can't block me. I'm part of the Mod Supreme. Don't call my bluff because I will literally do it just to. No, I'm kidding. Calm, calm, Adam. Calm. You tell him, Danny. Wait, what? You guys can't gang up on me. I'll block you all. All right. So I'm going to assume that there are no more poems being submitted to the challenge, which means fight me. Oh no. Oh no, I'm getting myself into fights with my own mod team. Okay, so drum roll in the chat, please. I'm gonna pick a winner. I'm gonna pick a winner of this competition. Competition? Challenge. It's more of a challenge than a competition, I guess. Well, technically speaking, I guess it's a competition. But... Poem. Oh, just in time there, Mark. Just in time. 3 generations is a norm, but 4's a storm. Like a gap tooth, leave that mix alone. Let it rise, forsooth, for that saga is a beautiful tune. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. 3 generations is a norm, but four's a storm. Like a gap tooth, leave that mix alone. Let it rise, forsooth, for that saga is a beautiful tune. All right, we got some drum rolls in. Oh, goodness. All right. All right. The drum rolls are going. The drum rolls are going. Diddly doot, diddly doot. Uh, okay. Okay, this time round, I'm going to award it to. I love that there's a drumstick in that. I love that there's a drumstick in that. This time, I'm going to award the challenge to Delgal. So well done, Delgal. I like that poem, and thank you for sharing your first poem with us. If you didn't get this challenge this time round, don't worry. We do them every single week, so there's plenty of opportunity to I still can't those same drums. Where do you find them? Um, what was I saying? There's still plenty of opportunity to grab yourself a bronze membership over at the Poetry Cove. Um, yeah. So congratulations, Delgal. Well done. Good job. Thank you for sharing your first poem with us, and I thought it was really lovely. I thought it was really really nice. I was gonna press a button on my Stream Deck, but actually I don't have I don't have a transition to the next scene for this. We're just going to jump into part two. We're going to talk about GloPoWriMo survival guide, I guess. Has anyone here actually taken part in GloPoWriMo already? Little girl! Has anybody taken part in GloPoWriMo already? Or NaPoWriMo, if you know it as NaPoWriMo, that's fine. Has anyone actually taken part in any of these challenges? Not I. None of my messages are showing. Aw, Mitchell. That's because you upset Danny and she put you in a timeout, probably. No, she didn't. As far as I'm aware, she didn't. Yes, they are, Mitch. No, okay. Is anyone. No, just Snout wrote one, so don't think I would get very far. That's okay. That's okay. Hey, you just won a challenge. Your first poem won a challenge, so well done. Your first ever poem, assuming it is, won a prize. They all need to be approved for some reason. Have you been a bad boy, Mitchell? Have you been a bad boy, Mitchell? Not Snout. That's okay. So, who here is planning to take part in GloPoWriMo or NaPoWriMo? For the record, whenever I say GloPoWriMo now, I'm referring to I'm also referring to NaPoWriMo. Is anyone planning to take part? I know there's some covers here in the chat that are planning to take part. I am. It's mainly the drum rolls in the celebrations. Maybe you had too many. Maybe you had too many drums. YouTube was like, nope. Me, good class, excellent. Mark, class, most likely. Genevieve, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I guess I wanted to. There is a great article I found that one of the mods are gonna uh there's a video post that iPad shows them. Stream doesn't. Oh no. Um what was I saying? There's an article in that's about to be shared in the chat that has it's like a survival guide. It's got some tips on how to get through GloPoWriMo, but I thought I would also share my experience. I mean, over at the Poetry Cove, thepoetrycove.com, by the way, is sort of my online poetry community. Feel free to come and join us. Our GloPoWriMo event will be available with a free account. You don't have to get a bronze membership. You'll be able to take part with any account. But we've done it for the last 3 years, 4 years maybe. So it's something it's a bit of a tradition over at the Cove that we all get together and do this challenge together. And essentially, you have to write a poem a day for every day of April. And I will be posting a prompt in the prompts thread every single day of April. Mark has already thrown in some warm-up prompts as well, so there's already prompts waiting for you to get started. Uh, and I thought we would just kind of discuss if anyone's got any, tribulations. Is that the right word? No, that doesn't feel like the right word. If anyone has any inhibitions, is that the right word? Or any worries, fears, worries, whatever it may be, questions you have to ask about GloPoWriMo, then feel free to do so. This is the place to do it. It is no easy feat. It takes a lot of energy to write a poem every single day of the month. I think there's 30 months, 30 months, 30 days. You're literally writing 30 poems in 30 days, I think. Maybe someone will be able to give me the exact number. But yeah, it's no easy thing. And you're going to start off the first week. It doesn't matter when you submit it, since we all have different time zones. Right, exactly. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. Thank you, Genevieve. The rest have 31 except February. Thank you. I didn't know that. And February has 28, right? I'm probably showing myself up. I'm a poet, not a calendar person. I don't know. Anyway, 30 poems in 30 days is a marathon. It is the poet's 28, except for the leap year. Thank you. It's the poet's marathon, right? It's not a sprint. So be warned. If you get to week 3 and you're feeling exhausted and worn out, it's because you're supposed to feel that way. It's because you're supposed to feel that way. So don't feel disheartened about that. Don't feel disheartened. And listen, if your poem that day is a land day, for example, a land day is a 2-line. I did that on my short as well. Is a 2-line poem. You haven't broken any rules, guys. That's a poem. That's a poetry form. You've written a poem that day. Go easy on yourself is what I'm trying to say. Go easy on yourself. Don't try and write a villanelle every single day is what I'm trying to say. You will feel burnt out, but that is the challenge. That is the challenge. And if you need to stop, you can stop. There is no one, at least over at the Cove, at least over at the Cove, no one is going to judge you if you miss a day or you miss a week or whatever it is. Go at your own pace, right? I had fun with the last challenge in the summertime. After 2 weeks, it starts feeling like the Twilight Zone. Yeah. Bubble hive mind seeing similar words buzzing around. That's so true. That's so true. And that's that's the good thing about doing it at the Poetry Cove or any other community you find that's doing it. You're doing it together. You're not in it alone, and you'll find the support. And we have a thread for discussion. And if you feel like you need to post in that discussion thread that you're feeling burnt out and you're struggling, then we're here to, as Covers, we're here to put our arms around each other and keep people steadfast and going. I think you have to tell yourself that you're going to do this, no matter the quality that you put out, because a poem is never done. So give yourself permission to just write. There it is. Thank you, Mark. I don't remember when I read it. I think it was Giles Brandreth who wrote an ode. Oh, Giles Brandreth. Hello again. Ode to a late lamented goldfish. And the whole poem was just, oh, wet pet. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's a poem. That's your poem for the day, and that's okay. But yeah, I just want to make it. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to get you all amped up without, being honest with you. Of course, I want to get you all amped up. That's doing GloPoWriMo. I want you to go forth, and I want you to do amazing things. But I just want you to, be very aware that it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You will feel tired. You will feel. What was the word that Clash just used? Um, in the twilight zone. You will feel like you're in the twilight zone. Um, but but if you do it through the cove with us, you'll have others that are feeling the same and who you can lean on and stuff like that. The prompts that I have designed, the prompts I've designed for the month are mostly prompts that are going to get you to suddenly stop, look around, and start writing. And they're very present in the moment prompts rather than giving you images and stuff like that. And if at any point, for those who are taking part in the Poetry Cove's GloPoWriMo, if at any point you're not enjoying my prompts, do what Mark did. Feel free to throw your own prompts. I think that started happening in Poco Chatmo as well. I think people started throwing in their own weekend wildcard prompts or something like that, wasn't it? Look at Ezra Pound's Inner Station at the Metro. I don't know that one. Should I read that one? Hang on, let me pull it up. Ezra Pound in was it in the station of the Metro, did you say? In the station of the Metro. Yep, there it is. Oh, there you go. Okay. The apparition of these faces in the crowd. Petals on a wet black bough. There you go. Exactly. Thank you, Mark. That's great. We were left along with no prompts on weekends, so we got creative. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. GloPoWriMo does not leave you alone at the weekends. But you guys were writing at the weekends anyway, because you guys were absolute warriors. Good luck to you all. We'll be backing you all the way through. You all can do it. I know you can. You're all amazing people. Aw. Does anyone have any questions about GloPoWriMo that I can maybe answer before we go? We're probably going about 10 minutes, I think. Why do people put theme? Why do people put themselves through it? Because we love poetry. Because poetry is everything. Suffering for our art, of course, Danny. Yes, exactly, Genevieve. If you miss a day, can you make it up either before or after? Yeah, or you don't have to. Yeah, you can either make it up before or after, or you don't have to. I The challenge is to write a poem a day. I am not going to be standing at the gates of the Poetry Cove thread with a spear, and if you don't write a poem that day, I'll jab you in the arm with a spear. At the end of the day, the challenge is there, but it's also there to be it's there to be had. Can you have a challenge? Yeah, the challenge is there to be had, but it's also there to be enjoyed. It's also there to be enjoyed. And, you know, I want us to have fun together as well. I don't want us to get to the end of April and hate what we've just done. I want it to be a journey, but I want it to be a fun journey. And so if you miss a day, you miss a day. It's up to you whether you make up for it or not. I mean, I suppose a real answer would be to beat the paralysis of a blank white page. One time I put a few I think that's page, blank white page. Yes. One time I put a few prompts into one because I missed those days. That's a cool idea, class. That's really cool. I would literally only have 3 hours a day to write one. The stress of that on top of my line of work. No, thank you. Haha. Yeah, no worries. That's fine. That's fine, Danny. That's okay. Um, mods, have I forgotten anything? That's so bad. But mods, have I forgotten to do anything for this stream before we wrap up at past? I've done the poetry prompt challenge. I read some poetry. We done the news headlines. From the start of this stream, my head has just been flustered and it's just been crazy ever since. Even throughout the stream, it's been crazy. So um yeah, I'm kind of leaning on the mods a little bit more tonight, maybe. I don't think I've forgotten anything. Mitch's poem. Mitch's poem. Did we get a poem from Mitch? I see no more links. Okay, cool. Limericks, Danny. I want to 100% enjoy it and truly push myself to do 100% every day. You got this, class. You got this. Nope, all good. Okay. Barbie dance. Yes, I have. I haven't done the Barbie dance on this stream. I admit that. Barbie dance. Poetry, poetry, doo. I can't remember how it goes. Oh, poetry. Yeah. Hey, here's what we can discuss for the next 6 minutes. What do we want to do to celebrate 8,000 subs, guys? Because we're going to be at 8,000 subs soon. What do you want to do to celebrate? And I mean it. In fact, I can do polls, right? No, can I not do polls? I thought I could do polls. I thought I could do polls. I can do polls. Oh, but I got to add options. No, I want you guys to tell me. What do you guys want to do to celebrate 8,000 subs? That's a little sad that you know the song. Wow. That's bullying, Danny. That's bullying. Of course I know the song. I did 2 shorts to it, and I loved every minute of it. I haven't sent you one as I haven't got any other than the one I read last night, so I thought you could pick someone else to send you one for next time, maybe. Okay, but Mitchell, you have to choose who gets to read. You have to choose who gets to read a poem. Make food poetry, Mitchell. Yeah, make food poetry, Mitchell. Choose Danny. That's cool. I like that, Genevieve. Damn straight you did. I enjoyed every second. That's why I pushed to do it a second time. That's why I pushed to do it a second time. No saying Adam and Mitchell make food poetry for eight. Oh, no, saying Adam and Mitchell to make food poetry for 8,000 subs. Would it be worth it to go on Zoom and read one of our own poems? I wouldn't be able to get Zoom hooked up to the stream, unfortunately. How about no, Genevieve? Wow. All right, all right, all right. Cool it, kids. I don't know who to pick. That's okay. That's okay. If you do want me to read one of your poems live on the next live stream, by the way, you can, if you can, hit that super chat. I'd really, really appreciate it. And in return, you can send me one of your poems via email, and then I will read it on the next live stream. I'll be down for that, class. In the meantime, before I forget, can we get a huge thank you to the mods for all their hard work tonight with all the links? They're always doing such a great job. They're always working hard behind the scenes. And I have leaned on them a little bit more this evening as well. So can we get a huge thank you to the mods in the chat with lots of love hearts? And you guys know what to do. Round of applause, all the stuff like that in the chat. To be honest, I think Adam has read both of mine. I only have two. Thank you, class. Yeah, that's for you, mods. All that love is for you because you do a great job and I appreciate it. And I say thank you too. We love you. Okay, in that case, abs to you, Adam. Do you know what? I have lost a lot of weight, but I still can't see my freaking abs. Need to do some crunches. Abs to you. Thank you. And biceps to you, Delgal. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing around. And love to Adam. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, guys. In that case, I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to end the stream here. But I've filmed choose next week's video. I have filmed it. I haven't edited it yet, so I'm going to close the stream and go and do some editing. So channel members, you should still have your early access tonight. Otherwise, it'll go live publicly on Tuesday. And yeah, thanks for being here, everyone. Lots of love, happy writing, and see you next.
Wow.